Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my dinosaur-loving friend Frank. How are you today?
I'm feeling positively Jurassic. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing just great, Frank. I'm doing just great. Before we talk about what we're going to talk about, if you'd be so kind as to tell me what you're drinking today.
Oh, sure.
Beer with Geeks.
Yeah. I am going to try a Southern Tier Tiramisu Stout.
Oh.
Is an Imperial Stout, 10% alcohol by volume.
But Frank, it's not July. Why are you drinking a stout?
There it is. And if you're following along, watching us on YouTube, you'll see that I am drinking out of the other Star Wars Burger King glass
Nice.
that I own.
I don't know what's up with Luke's face on this one, though. He's like there's this certain angle.
It's sort of it's kind of like him looking off in the binary sunset, I guess. That sort of like wistful look.
He's kind of got emperor eyes, though, if you look at him.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Eyes.
Yeah, they are unusually white. Yeah. So you got Ben, we got Luke, Leia, Death Star, TIE Fighter, X-Wing, a couple Stormtroopers, and I guess Alderaan.
Yeah.
And then the Star Wars logo and the Burger King logo.
Cool.
And on the back we have
R2 is back there.
R2 is back there, but this is a little blurb about Luke Skywalker.
Cool.
And that's your 1977 Coca-Cola Burger King glass there. What about you? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking out of my Stein today.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Edith, by the way.
Yes, nice.
Mm-hmm. But I'm still working through my my collection of Boddingtons, but I wanted to do it in the lukewarm style or the cool style, because they said you recommend not chilled, not
cool,
lukewarm,
yes.
but just cool. And so I let it sit out, and I put it, in the Stein instead to air it out. And it's actually much better.
Nice. That's great. I
can actually taste a pretty distinct difference between here and last week. Plus, it's got a nice amber, like a nice caramel amber color.
It's a beautiful color. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So that's the pub ale, right?
Correct.
Nice.
And Frank, I'm here with my amber.
Yes, you are, aren't you? Yeah.
Yes. And as my attire attest between my Jurassic Park hat and my Jurassic Park ugly Christmas sweater, we're here to talk about Star Wars.
Indeed.
I love a good setup. That it goes nowhere. It's awesome.
That is one of the hallmarks of a dad joke, right? Is that it's just sort of like, that was it. I just had one.
I look like I'm ready to talk about Jurassic Park. I'm not even coming close to it. We're going to talk about Star Wars today.
Yeah.
I was wearing the Christmas sweater, but then I realized that I had already taken a shower, and so I needed a hat to cover my unproduct hair.
I see.
And I just grabbed the Jurassic Park hat for continuity.
Sure.
So now I look like a Jurassic Park fiend, which I am.
You really do.
I'm very excited about the next movie. That sounds stupid, but I want to see it anyway.
Yes.
And it's all good.
This is the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is the way. But Frank, a couple of things Star Wars related have kind of happened.
Yeah. There's a bit of news.
Yeah, a bit of news. And we haven't really talked about any of it. So I thought we could just kind of hash that out together as friends today. Some things on our agenda, but the first and foremost, I guess the newest piece of news is that Jeremy Allen is playing Road to the Hutt. What is that about? Is that his name? The bear? Jeremy Allen?
Yeah, Jeremy Allen.
Yeah.
Jeremy Allen White, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm confused. I can't think of a.
Go ahead. Yeah.
When has like a, known actor ever played a Hutt?
Well, that's kind of where my mind went too. I was like, name me the guy who voiced Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do it. Right. We know lots about Star Wars. That's not something that I carry around in my back pocket. Jabba's
not in the least.
And even any of the other Hutt characters that have appeared in Star Wars since then, either in Clone Wars or in The Mandalorian or anything like, not The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett.
Book of Boba Fett.
Like none of those have registered as known actors, to me. So, like, what is the purpose of is he going to speak Huttese? And
right, I don't know. I mean, we've seen an English speaking Hutt on the Clone Wars.
Yep.
Right. What was the name? The one that talked like Truman Capote.
I don't remember.
It's gonna bother me because I know it. It's gonna bother me. I might want to look up.
Yeah, or you could let your brain come to it on its own later.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You should look up whatever. Frank, it's only 5 minutes into the show. What could we possibly need to look up later?
In this very news-heavy show.
Yeah, this is the equivalent of like buying your souvenir in the airport as soon as you land in a port.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. It's like, there's a magnet that says Paris. I have to get it because it's Paris.
Slow your roll.
Yeah, why don't you wait until we exit the airport? Yeah, before we spend all the money.
Come on, man. Yeah.
I mean, this is just like a choice that has been made, and I'm sure it's the right choice for them at the time they were like. I'm sure the idea is out of nowhere. Maybe he will speak English, and that is why, or he'll speak basic or standard, and that's why. And that's why they're going in this direction. But I don't know. It's
very, very puzzling. Puzzling is the word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, I guess they had to know that announcement would be kind of puzzling. So they definitely wanted to get a rise out of people, right? Like there's no way you just announce that and not think people are going to react. So like they got attention. They got our attention.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a good actor. So it's not like
an excellent actor. Yeah.
Like what a terrible choice
not at all.
To play this space slug.
Yeah.
Like, like none of that matters to me. It's just like, to get a known quantity, an award-winning known quantity,
right?
Feels like a joke. It feels like
it does.
Like an April 1st fake news, like they're making a Legend of Zelda movie, and also Jeremy Allen White is playing Jabba's son. It just feels fake, but it's not.
It feels fake. It sounds like parody.
Yep. But what are you gonna do? It's okay. That's what is not parody, which is kind of the bigger news that we haven't really talked about, is that Simon Kinberg has signed on to write 3 Star Wars movies, 3 Rey movies, or just a new I think it's just a new trilogy.
A new trilogy?
Yeah, people assume that it's connected to the Rey movie that's coming.
Yeah.
But it's actually been really unclear.
Super unclear.
That's true. Because she had Daisy Ridley, before that was announced a few weeks previously, had teased that big news was coming. And so like she was aware of it. So like if the actor is aware, then and there was like a lot of floating around that Rey is their like kind of biggest commodity, right? Like future commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And so because you could say whatever you want about the sequels, but Rey is pretty much like a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think anybody really could, I mean, apart from people whose opinions I don't care about, the sexists and the whatever, the bigots of the internet or whatever.
Yes.
But like the regular people are like, yeah, Rey was cool. I liked Rey.
Yes, right.
Yeah, Rey was good. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Simon Kinberg famously produced many of the X-Men movies.
Yes.
Some of them good, some of them bad. I will use my lookup to talk about some of them. Starting with, but not limiting to, X-Men First Class, great movie.
Great movie.
Days of Future Past, great movie.
He produced these, correct?
Produced these, yes.
Right.
I will get to other.
Yeah. Okay.
Later. Let me just do the producing part.
Right on.
I'll do some of the non-X-Men movies. He also did Jumper, which is a Star Wars tie, the Hayden Christensen movie where he jumps
That's right.
around.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
The live-action Cinderella with Lily James, a 10 out of 10 if you've never seen. So truthfully for that, I'm like, you can do whatever you want, Simon Kinberg. That's a great movie. Chappie.
Oh.
Fanforstic. Not great. A lot of stuff happening with that movie. Wouldn't say that it was all him.
No, of course.
The Martian, great movie.
Love.
X-Men Apocalypse, decent movie.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, great movie.
Great movie.
Murder on the Orient Express, pretty good movie.
Good movie.
Always Forgotten, but not in our hearts. The co-creator and executive producer of Star Wars Rebels. Everyone forgets this.
Okay, I thought so. I was going to say, didn't he have some tie to Star Wars already? Yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone always like jumps to just Filoni for Rebels, but like Kinberg was there too. It's kind of like when everyone's like, "Oh, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini," like and they're like, "But what about Alan Burnett?"
Yeah, right.
There the whole time too.
Yeah.
He's a big deal too. Like I don't know. It's just like there's always that one. Name the third guy that walked on the moon. It's like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yes.
He was there too. Like that guy.
Uh-huh.
Deadpool 2. Interesting, not Deadpool 1. Just Deadpool 2.
Just 2.
That's because he was busy doing Rebels, I think.
Okay, fair.
He did Rebels from 14 to 18, and then hopped back to Fox for Deadpool 2, which was 2018.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
that tracks there.
The Gifted, which was the X-Men light show that was on Fox. X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad as people say. I want to put it out there. It's okay. It's not great, but it's way better than a lot of things.
Yes, surely.
He also directed that one, if that's what you might have been thinking of.
Yeah.
And so choices were made again.
Yeah. He didn't write it though, did he?
I can cut out that and look it up. These are still the producing errors.
All right, fair.
Executive producer, Designated Survivor.
Okay. Interesting. I watched the first season of that show and it was good.
Executive producer, Legion. Executive producer, the new Twilight Zone that only lasts 20 episodes.
I loved that show though.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Producer on The New Mutants. Didn't see. Not a great movie though, from all accounts. Executive producer and producer on Death on the Nile and A Haunting in Venice, the other two Poirot movies.
Yeah.
Executive producer, Invasion, which was Apple TV, I think.
Okay. I remember this.
Was just okay. Executive producer on Sugar, which just came out this year, and executive producer on Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay.
There you go.
So pretty good stuff. Let me do writing so we can go back to writing because he is writing it. So this is
that's
arguably more important. But okay, you ready for this? It's a rough ride, but also a decent ride.
Okay.
So the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'll go backwards. I'll hop around. Which is award nominated. So
was it really?
Yeah, it gets to get it. And it has a couple of Golden Globe noms. So surprising, I know, right? Okay, so there's that. Invasion, it's okay. The 355, the Twilight Zone, X-Men Dark Phoenix, some episodes of Star Wars Rebels. So I'll assume the good ones because I'm not looking it up.
Sure.
Story by screenplay by X-Men Apocalypse. But worth noting that Bryan Singer was the one that really messed up that shoot. I really don't think that the story itself is that bad. It's the way it is delivered to the audience, which is out of the screenplay writer's hands.
Okay.
The movie's getting made. The writer doesn't really have much to do anymore.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay, here's where again, Fanforstic, the original, he
did write it.
Yeah, he did. Not great. However, I don't think he wrote the original draft. He wrote the rewrites, which were the studio mandated rewrites to like fix what was happening with Josh Trank's version.
Did Trank write it, and then Kinberg was brought into.
I'm going to count this all in the.
This is all one lookup. This is all one
lookup. Yeah. So Jeremy Slater, Simon Kinberg, and Josh Trank are the credited writers. But for a writer to be credited on a movie, they have to write a certain amount of material in the rewrite. And that movie was heavily rewritten. So I think he was in the rewrite era of things. Sometimes you just got to do the job that's in front of you.
Yeah, and it's just you can't really judge then, because it's like you don't know how much was he polishing the turd,
Correct.
Like
that's exactly right.
So it's it's you can't it's hard to assign blame to that, right? But it's not it's like that scares me to see, but all right. Anything else notable that he wrote?
Yes, because it does get better or for worse. So better or for worse. So I'll do some worse ones, and then I'll end with the better ones to make you feel better on the.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so XXX, The State of the Union.
Oh no!
The original Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt
and Brad Pitt. Okay.
Jumper.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
This Means War, which was that Reese Witherspoon and The Fire Rises. What's his name? My gosh.
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah, thanks. And somebody else. It's all one lookup. I'm so on the same page.
Yes.
Better break my own rules. CIA
rules
agents,
were made to be
Franklin and Tuck discover they are in love with the same woman. Chris Pine and Tom Hardy.
Okay.
I did see it. Pretty funny movie, we'll say. It's actually pretty good. So he wrote Jumper, Hayden Christensen movie.
Yep.
Okay, but here's this. He wrote X-Men: The Last Stand.
Okay.
Could go one or the other on that. It's not a great movie. It's a little squish, but in comparison to some other X-Men movies, it's great. So,
yes.
So I should say, in comparison to some other Star Wars movies, it's great. We could just go in that direction too. It could be like, well, it wasn't the Rise of Skywalker, so life is good. Whatever. Okay, so but to end on high notes, give me a high note. No, okay. Thank you. He did write X-Men Days of Future Past.
Oh, yes.
Is a credited writer on X-Men Days of Future Past. Great movie. And also one of my personal favorites. Not an X-Men movie, but he did write the first Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Which is awesome.
You've always said.
Super fun. Yeah. So this is a bag of coal, bag of candy kind of situation.
Yeah. It's a mixed bag.
But like I said, once the screenplay is out of the writer's hands, it really is out of their hands. And so you can't, like, some things you can rest at the foot of the writer, and some things are just, they are what they are.
But then, like Dark Phoenix, he wrote and directed. So it's like,
yeah, but also, I don't think it's as bad as.
No, I know. But again, so we come back to kind of a mixed bag. Which is sort of what I'm, but the things that I like of his, I think are excellent.
There's some really good stuff in there. That new Twilight Zone was
First Class. First Class is just
which he produced, didn't write. Matthew Vaughn wrote the script for. Somebody else wrote First Class. Matthew Vaughn is also credited on Days of Future Past, but I know that when he left the project, his script was rewritten in different ways, I'm sure, by Simon Kinberg. So, so like that stuff's okay.
Yes,
that's all good. I don't know. I could check to see what episodes he wrote of Clone Wars. Not Clone Wars.
While you're doing that, I'm curious. Let's face it, the last few years, there's been a lot of announcements from Disney about Star Wars, about projects that don't end up happening.
Sure.
I'm still waiting. Like that Rian Johnson trilogy never officially got canceled, so like we're waiting around for that. He supposedly is too busy with Knives Out stuff, sequels to be working on that. Taika Waititi was supposed to have written a film by now. Like all of these projects have been sort of not to mention like. Patty Jenkins's Rogue Squadron movie has been on again, off again, on again, off again. So there are a lot of announcements like that seem like they and I have to credit Rebel Force Radio for pointing this out. A lot of those announcements surface around the timing of conventions or shareholder meetings.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's you know, you got to at least factor that in and realize that maybe some things are not planned, but they don't really follow through on them a lot of the time. So I do have to wonder, will this one happen? Because the Rey trilogy started out as a Damon Lindelof project,
right?
And then he left.
I forgot about that.
But Daisy was brought in, and she appeared at D23 and everything to announce it, and so it's like it's happening. And she said she hasn't read a script or anything like that. I mean, obviously, if he's writing it, then there you go. But I do wonder if this is the same project or not, and if it'll even happen. Or will there be creative differences 6 months from now, and we'll find out that he left?
I think part of the issue is that that stuff always happens, but now they announce it, and so I think that's part of, like, that stuff. I mean, like, if you think about, like, I don't know, The Wizard of Oz and all of, like, the crazy nonsense that movie had happened during that movie for it to get made, like, would people have gone? Or, like, you know, well, I guess, like, in some ways people didn't go either. You know, Wizard of Oz really caught people's attention on television more than anything. But I think my point is that, like, no one was aware of that stuff. Yeah. But now we're aware of a lot of it, but we're also aware of, like, second, third, fourth, fifth hand versions of it, and not the real version. And so it is not to Lucasfilm's credit to follow the Marvel style of announcing their slate. Yeah. But even Marvel, like, announces stuff and changes stuff, but for whatever reason they're allowed to get away with it. Not that sounds like they're doing something wrong, you know, but, like, they change their plans because that's what happens. Like, how many plans change at work for you? You know?
Sure. Yeah.
Stuff happens.
I would say not get away with it, but they can pull it off.
Maybe because
there's a subtle
quality of what they're putting out might be or was slightly better at a particular point, so they have more clout. I think the sequel trilogy kind of ruined that for a lot of people, because like there is, like, this weird disconnect between the quality of their television and the quality of their movies in people's minds. Because when I think of Star Wars now, I don't really go to the sequels in my mind. I go to what they're pumping out on Disney Plus, which for the most part has been really good. You know, like, you know, The Mandalorian's great. Skeleton Crew has been great so far. Ahsoka was really good. You know, Andor. We enjoyed The Acolyte. Boba Fett had its moments. You know, like, none of it's really been bad. No, but I could also say that about the sequel trilogy too. But I'm also a minority there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. I got those Rebels episodes, though, by the way.
You got them. All right.
Make you feel better. So I don't actually know all of the titles to correlate to the episodes, but I know two of them, and they will make you feel better. So we have Entanglement, Property of Ezra Bridger, Call to Action, Fire Across the Galaxy, which I don't know what any of those are. If I looked them up, I'm sure I would. But
sure, yeah.
The two I know. Twilight of the Apprentice, which is the season 2 finale.
Yeah.
Which is a good episode. And Family Reunion and Farewell, which is the series finale.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good. Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to say good news.
So so that's here's a key thing, right? Like, there's his track record with big with major studio films in general, and then there's his Star Wars track record. And his Star Wars track record
is the season 1 finale.
Which one is?
Fire Across the Galaxy is the season 1 finale.
Okay. So he was writing finales. He was writing big episodes because he was a co-creator of the show.
Yeah, he was a co-creator, so he was producing it. So they didn't have he didn't have time to just write it.
Sure.
One of them, I think, as the Call to Action was the one in the first season with Tarkin. So, like, big episodes. Like that's good stuff.
Episodes that are important to advancing the overall story of the show, not like the overall larger story arc,
which is maybe telling for movies, right?
Yes.
You're advancing it. What I do like, quality of his writing aside, because sometimes writers just don't write good stuff and sometimes they write great stuff. It happens. You just you can be an Academy Award winning screenwriter, write the best thing in your life and never write anything good after that because you had your good idea. Maybe we're still waiting on his good idea, his really good idea. We just don't know for Star Wars specifically, right?
Sure.
But what I do like, one unified vision from one unified writer to go through 3 movies. I just don't
like that.
Yeah, that's the magic of for better or for worse, the magic of the sequels. I mean, the prequels is at least it had a really clear arc, which truthfully the original trilogy doesn't. It has the basic outline of the story, but George didn't plan 3 movies. He planned 1 movie and then another movie and then another movie.
Right.
And then he just happened to make them connect, right?
Well, if you hear him tell it, he wrote either 9 or 12 stories to begin with.
Maybe he wrote them up here in his head. He wrote a lot of things.
Yeah.
So, but even with edits and whatever else, and the ghostwriters and whatever who came in for all those movies, at least 1 through 3 is the clear story from one end to the other one. It knew what it was telling. Early on, it doesn't contradict itself, like the original trilogy has the tendency to do in some areas. But so I think I'm just most looking forward to that. And if I can take Rebels as my tone cue in some way, then I'm okay with both of those things. That's okay. And whether they involve Rey or they don't, I'm ambivalent. I would like to see more Rey, but if they go in a different direction, then they go in a different direction.
I feel I think it was very premature to announce that Rey thing, but I think they felt like they needed to announce something at that point. But I think that we probably will see a Rey film at some point. I do think it will probably happen. Probably,
I'm sure it'll happen.
But I think it's going to be. They've already moved. It was supposed to come out Christmas of 2026, and now that's no longer happening. I mean, logistically, it was pretty clear it couldn't happen at this point. But I think that has been officially sort of kicked off now. I think it will happen, but I'm sort of more skeptical and cautious about what I get excited about, just because so many of these announcements have either have not come to pass, or a lot of them are in limbo technically. They haven't been canceled, but I haven't heard anything from Taika or from Johnson. Ryan Johnson.
The Taika movie is different than now the James Mangold movie.
Oh, that's another one. Yeah.
But
yes, it is different.
Yeah. But I will say that I don't care necessarily that they're taking a long time, because
it's not that
product is usually not a good product.
No, I agree, but I don't think they're really even working on them. I think that they've agreed to do something and they haven't really worked on those things. So I don't think they exist.
Which is also the normal Hollywood style of thing, and that we're just well, you said you were going to do the thing, so do the thing. But it, they have other things to do too.
Sure.
So, but less is more with Star Wars in some way. I don't want, because I love Star Wars, as you can tell from my Star Wars attire right now.
Yes.
I love Star Wars, but I don't want to watch Star Wars every day.
Sure.
And so if you just keep pumping stuff out at an extreme rate, the quality diminishes, and then I become sick of your product.
And we kind of found that with Marvel, right? Their TV stuff took a little bit of a turn there. They were putting out a bit too much, and they've slowed it down, and it's gotten better as a result.
Yep. So I if you're just really actually just going to take the time to like make sure it's good, fine.
Sure.
Fine. I mean, because you're not, there's no story out there that I'm yearning to know about in Star Wars right now. Like, what's Rey up to? I'll find out when they tell me.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good enough for me. I really only wanted to know what Han, Luke, and Leia were up to, and you told me, and I didn't love it.
Yes.
So I'm not really in a rush to find out like what everybody else is up to.
When you put it that way, take your time.
Take your time.
Well, that is the thing with like the Rey announcement at the time, even, and this is 2 or 3 years ago, I guess, that felt super premature. It's like we barely even have closed the book on Rey, and we're already talking about her coming back, and it's going to be 15 years past when it's, like. That's
because they knew it was going to take a long time.
Yeah, right.
So it'll be 15 years by the time
they knew it
finishes.
It was an inflation. It was an inflationary writing or something. I don't know.
Yep.
I
don't mind if they pushed to 15 years. I mean, whatever. That's
fine. Dude, I would be happy if they waited 15 years before they announced a new project, is what I'm saying. Like let it sit, let it cool off. Like it was 16 years between Jedi and Phantom Menace. Like that
created a real fervor for the product, but that's not the way Hollywood's working anymore. They have to create something that is literally going to give them jobs. Like,
yes, there is that aspect of it. Yes,
there's that aspect of like they can't bank on cheap movies, pumping out cheap movies to make like kind of a bottom dollar and taking a risk somewhere else, because that's really not how their model works anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So they have to put something out that they feel is a sure bet, and then really hoping that it is. But I mean, as the box office is like unpredictable, like the stock market. Like you can say that it's a sure product and people will love it all you want, but that doesn't mean people will go.
Yeah, right. It is a gamble at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
See the Eternals. I don't know.
Yeah, truthfully, I think more than anything else, what I hope everybody is learning is that people will go if it's good.
If it's good.
And but like there are good movies that people don't see. They come and go, right?
Yes, all the time.
But that word of mouth of goodness like goes a long way. See Wicked. Like,
I was just going to say Wicked is a great example.
People are going, even though they've never seen The Wizard of Oz, even though they've never seen the Broadway musical, just because they heard it was good. Barbie's another great example of that.
Yes.
There's another example of that. People heard they were worth watching, and they will go spend their money on something that's worth watching. But as soon as a few people say, it was okay, that's it. You're done. Which is,
I'm not gonna get up and go to the theater and spend $50 for me and my partner to go see it if it's just okay.
Right. Especially when I know I can just wait 3 months and I'll basically watch it for free.
Yeah.
Because I'm already paying for your streaming service or whatever. So I don't want to see a just okay movie just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
I will just wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it. It has really changed. The game has changed. But the other thing to say, I guess we should just say, like, for those 3 movies you cited, they also had tremendous marketing budgets behind them, right? They were the like blockbuster films of their time periods, Barbenheimer and now Wicked, right? Like, just so there is that aspect of it too, right? Like, people, how are they hearing about it? It is word of mouth, but it is also the $300 million into marketing or whatever that is behind it.
Absolutely.
But those movies that you mentioned all had the goods to back it up.
Right. You can market the heck out of your movie, but if it doesn't hit something in the public conscience, then people aren't going to go. Actually, think of the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out a couple of years ago as a good example of this.
Yeah,
because they did market the heck out of that movie. It was everywhere. People didn't go. Because it wasn't registering with the public consciousness, even though they thought that it would. Dungeons and Dragons was back in thanks to Stranger Things, but they had like missed their window already by a couple of years, I think. But the movie was really good, and that's why I say like sometimes people don't turn out for good things. It's well reviewed for good, like across the board. Like people who saw it and critics both really liked it, and people didn't, and people just didn't go.
I think you're right that the timing was just a little bit off.
Yeah, so you can plan up the wazoo, but you just really can't plan for the tides of change.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Wisdom. You can't plan for the tides of change. Just like destiny, like Luke Skywalker.
Oh, I thought you were going to go into like a Frankenstein thing for a second. You're like destiny. 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 Yeah.
No. Just me rambling.
Yeah, I think that's enough rambling for you. Frank, where can the people, like, until I tell you to say more things, Frank, where can the people
Yeah, exactly. That's enough rambling. Now ramble about this. People can find us on YouTube. You can look up Beer with Geeks on YouTube. You can rate and review us everywhere that podcasts are found. You can like and subscribe wherever your podcasts are found or your YouTube videos are found. And you can visit us at beerwithgeeks.com. You can email us at beerwithgeeks@gmail.com. And if you want to support us and help us keep making the show, it's patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio. And we would really, really appreciate your support. Thank you to everyone who does support us over there.
And thank you to all the people who watch, who listen, who give us high fives in public, whoever you are. All good things. But Frank, it's always a pleasure to talk to you about Star Wars. So until next time,
cheers.
Should we just do like 2 minutes of like just us drinking quietly? Decent pour on this one. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Manly men stuff, man.
Business.
Football.
Did the ball do the thing? Did it cross the line or whatever?
They put it in the it went down. It made it in the thing.
That was great.
Yeah.
Good for those pucks. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the squiggly green lines in the market went up?
No way.
Yeah. But some of the abbreviations, they went down. Is there anything fluffier than a cloud?